When I used to work as a night guard, I had a special Christmas Eve that was different from my usual nights. The mall was all bright and festive with beautiful lights and a huge Christmas tree in the middle. But even with all that cheer, I felt really alone as I walked around the empty corridors doing my patrol. I was drinking my coffee to stay warm in the cold while walking around. It felt strange because the whole city seemed quiet and empty. Being alone in a big, empty mall on Christmas Eve wasn't very happy. I stopped near the Christmas tree and thought about my family having fun at home. That's when I noticed a light flickering in a store far away. At first, I thought something was wrong with the lights, but then I saw a person behind the store counter. I hurried over, but the store was locked. How could someone be inside? I was getting ready to leave when I heard a loud noise, like something dropping. I looked and saw someone quickly moving away down the hall. I felt nervous but followed them. They vanished into a smaller hallway, and the only place they might have gone was the bathroom. My heart was beating fast as I opened the door. One of the stalls was shut, and I could hear strange crying from inside. It really scared me. I tried talking to the person in there, but they didn't answer. Something even weirder happened next. My phone couldn't get any bars, so I couldn't call anyone for help. I started feeling really scared because I was all alone in a strange situation. Later, when the police came, things got stressful. They tried talking to the person in the bathroom stall, but that person didn't say anything back. It was really hard for the officers to open the door and get the person out. After the police took the person away, I still felt uneasy. It was like a strange cloud covered the mall, and every small noise scared me. I kept looking around, thinking the person might return. Time passed slowly, and the usual things I did felt scarier than usual. The decorations that usually made me happy now seemed spooky, and every noise inside the building made me nervous. I really wanted to leave work as soon as my shift ended. But it felt like time was going so slowly. Then, just when I was waiting for the time to go home, suddenly, all the lights in the whole mall turned off. It became completely dark, and I got scared. My heart was beating so fast, and I quickly tried to find my flashlight. Then, I heard someone walking, at first softly, but it got louder. I got really scared and didn't move or even breathe. The sound of footsteps suddenly stopped close by. I used my flashlight to look, but there was nobody there, just an empty hallway. I got really scared because I didn't know why I heard those footsteps. Was I imagining things, or was someone actually hiding? Later, the lights came back on, but I still felt scared. I was nervous for the rest of my time working there, every small noise making me jump. Finally, when I left the mall, I felt so relieved, like a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I never figured out what happened that night. The police didn't tell me about the person they took away. But one thing is certain, I couldn't see that mall the same anymore. Remembering that Christmas Eve still gives me chills. It makes me curious about what truly went on in those dark parts of the mall. Before I continue to the next story, if you are interested in earning from YouTube without showing your face or without making videos by yourself using artificial intelligence, like the video that you are watching right now, then I have a special free training for you. Check the first link in the description below to get instant access. When I was younger, Christmas at our house was super special. We had a big 2-story house that my parents owned, and all our family would come over. But one Christmas, things got a bit crazy. We had a new person move into the downstairs part of our house. At first, he seemed fine, but then things started to get strange. On Christmas Eve, our family had a big dinner. We needed a really long table to fit everyone. There were 20 seats, and they were all filled up. My Uncle Jake, who really liked smoking, went outside a few times for a cigarette. Once, he forgot his phone on the table. When it started ringing, my dad asked me to bring it to Uncle Jake outside. I quickly went downstairs to look for Uncle Jake. But when I saw the back door was open, I thought he might be outside. I headed towards the shed, heard some sounds, and saw someone coming out. At first, I thought it was Uncle Jake because it was a bit dark, but as the person got closer, I realized it was the guy who lives downstairs. It scared me, so I hurried back inside to tell my uncle about it. I went upstairs and told my dad about what happened. He seemed concerned but didn't want to spoil our Christmas dinner. After everyone left, I stayed in the living room near the fire and Christmas tree. I fell asleep watching a movie, but I woke up when I heard someone on the stairs. I thought it was my family, so I didn't think much of it. It was when I heard strange sounds coming from the Christmas tree, like someone was touching it. But when I checked, there was no one there. When I turned around, I saw the person who lives downstairs standing right beside me. I got really scared and shouted, and he tried to stop me by covering my mouth. Thankfully, my dad heard me screaming and went after the person, but they managed to escape. That scary night made us call the police. They arrived and asked a lot of questions. Mom and Dad explained the weird sounds downstairs, the odd things the new person living here did, and everything that happened. The police took it seriously and began looking into it. The police searched everywhere in our house to find clues, like fingerprints, and they even looked in the shed where I saw the person from downstairs. It was really helpful that my parents had copies of our tenant's ID and other important information. The police used that info to find and catch the person. The police discovered that this person had gotten in trouble with the law before. They had broken into other places in the past. With the proof we gave them and knowing about the person's past, the police built a strong case. It took some time, but they finally caught the person. While the police were looking into things, they found out that this person was planning to steal from our place. They had been watching us, waiting for the perfect moment. When they thought everyone was sleeping, they sneaked in, thinking they could take things when nobody was looking. Luckily, my parents knew what to do when a guy tried to break in and steal from us. They worked with the police and took legal action against him. We won the case, and he got punished for what he did. It was really scary, but the police were amazing. They kept us safe and made sure the bad guy faced consequences. That Christmas was unusual, but it taught us to be careful and have good security to stay safe. A while back, something super creepy happened on Christmas at my friend's house. I used to babysit for them and look after their place and their dog for a long time. But this Christmas night was really strange. Okay, imagine it's Christmas, and this big family is all at home together. Outside, it's all gloomy, rainy, and foggy. Everyone's having a great time, the older kids are there, some from different places. Just a classic happy Christmas with tons of food, music, and laughs. Later, the youngest daughter sees someone outside the house. She thinks it's her dad wearing a black hoodie. She asks her mom if dad needs help, but her mom says dad's asleep in their room. Then they realize something's wrong. There's a stranger in a black hoodie staring into their house. It's Christmas night, so they get really scared. They start checking all the doors and windows to stay safe. The person wearing the hoodie doesn't do anything except stand still, which seems scary. They're just standing and staring, making others feel uncomfortable. At first, the others think it might be a joke, so they try to scare the hoodie person away by saying they've called the police and even have a gun. But this person in the hoodie just keeps smiling and banging on the glass. One day, a person wearing a hoodie ran and jumped over a fence into the neighbor's yard. The family told their friends next door, but the person disappeared before anyone else saw them. The police came quickly, but they couldn't find the person. Because of this scary incident, the family made their home more secure. They installed new lights and other things in their yard. The scariest part was that they didn't know how long the person had been watching them on Christmas. Their house is in a fancy neighborhood, kind of on a hill near a busy road, so it's difficult to sneak in and out without being noticed. The house is really neat but also a bit spooky. It has many glass windows and doors that slide open. When the wind blows, it makes strange, eerie noises inside. Sometimes, you might hear odd sounds, but it's simple to pretend they're not there. The way the rooms are set up is similar to old-fashioned Japanese houses, with sliding doors all around an open space in the middle. There was this person who kept showing up at someone's house, but nobody knew who he was. Some thought maybe he was someone from the past, like an old boyfriend or a strange friend from school trying to pull a prank. But as time went on, they never figured out his identity. It was like a big puzzle or mystery. People started to wonder if this guy might have some issues or if he just liked sneaking into houses when nobody was home during the holidays. Then, things got even more puzzling. The police tried to find out who this guy was, but they couldn't. They looked everywhere around the neighborhood, asked the neighbors lots of questions, but they couldn't find any clues. It was almost like the guy had magically disappeared. A little while later, something similar happened in another area nearby. Someone saw a mysterious person wearing a black hoodie wandering around on a foggy night, just a few houses away. The police were confused because it seemed like the same person was acting strangely at different houses. But this time, things changed. A house close by had cameras that caught a blurry picture of the person. In the footage, the person was wearing a unique bracelet. That clue helped the police find a suspect. They discovered it was someone who lived nearby and had a habit of sneaking into places when nobody was home. He was actually pretty good at sneaking into homes and scaring people just for fun. He didn't have a big plan or anything, he was just a weird guy who liked freaking families out during holidays. The police eventually caught him. When they looked in his place, they found a bunch of strange things he'd taken from different houses. It was a relief for the families nearby to know he was caught, but it also made them think about how scary things could have been if he hadn't been caught. So, that's the twist. The mysterious person everyone was curious about turned out to be someone who lives close by. This person has a habit of sneaking into houses and doing spooky things. It was a bit of a relief because it wasn't something really terrifying, but it made for a super memorable Christmas in the neighborhood.